Powered by Riverside.
All right, guys, welcome in. I hope everybody that went to the National this past week had a good time. I've been watching a lot of the recap videos, and most of the ones that I've seen from friends that I know have been really good. And then a lot of the bigger channels, I've seen some of those, and it was, well, not so good. We'll get into that here in a minute. But first, we got to hear from the sponsors, guys. We got to do it. I don't want to do it. We got to do it. We got to hear from the sponsors. I don't want to hear from them, but we got to hear from them. So, collectors, tonight's first sponsor is the Sleeve Snuggler, the world's first weighted blanket designed specifically for sports cards. Why? Because your cards deserve to feel safe, secure, and emotionally grounded. Sleeve Snuggler is made from ultra-soft, hobby-grade fibers that gently press down on your cards, simulating the comforting feeling of being stored under a 600-count box from 1994. Features include adjustable weights for cards with abandonment issues, a built-in ASMR module that whispers you're still Jim Mint every 30 seconds, a tiny pocket for storing your hopes and dreams. That's sold separately, by the way. Sleeve Snuggler. Tuck your cards in, tuck your anxiety out. Our second sponsor, the Sports Card Fundraiser. Because your wallet tapped out in 2021, but your dreams didn't. Collectors, lean in. Tonight's sponsor is the Sports Card Fundraiser, the only company bold enough to say, hey, maybe you can afford that grail if you're willing to get weird about it. The Sports Card Fundraiser helps you raise money for the cards you want through a variety of completely unnecessary schemes, including the Neighborhood Ripathon. You go door to door asking strangers if they'd like to sponsor your next hobby box. It's like Girl Scout cookies, except instead of Thin Mints, you're selling the possibility of pulling a backup tight end auto. Cardathon Telethon, a 12-hour live stream where you dramatically plead for donations while gently tapping slabs for emotional effect. Operators are standing by, mostly because they're bored. The Hobby Bake Sale. You sell cupcakes shaped like PSA slabs. Each one is slightly off-center to maintain authenticity. The Fantasy Break Draft. People draft imaginary hits from imaginary boxes. No one gets anything. Somehow it still raises money. But the real magic, their signature program, the Please Help Me Buy This Card Scholarship, a heartfelt essay competition where you explain why you deserve that $400 refractor. Essays are judged on grammar, emotional manipulation, and how convincingly you blame your financial situation on retail blasters. And for a limited time, use promo code NEEDMORECARDBudget to get access to their newest fundraising method, which is the Hobby Car Wash. You wash cars, but only using microfiber cloths designed for wiping slabs. It takes forever. People hate it, but it's for the cards, so they pretend to understand. The Sports Card Fundraiser, because when life says budget responsibly, the hobby says, nah, let's run a raffle. Now back to the show. So as I was saying in the intro, I've watched a lot of the content. It looks like everybody, I mean, at least the people that I know for the most part had a good time. I mean, there's obviously some things that could be improved, but most of those things have needed to be improved for a long time. And, you know, I've been talking to, several of my friends that didn't go this year. And we have decided that we are going to go next year. But I don't want that to be interpreted as I believe that things are going to be better, because I don't. And the reason why is because the companies in the hobby, they always tend to overpromise and underdeliver. And by underdeliver, I mean they flat out lie. They say they're going to improve this or that, and they do nothing, generally speaking, or they make it worse in a lot of cases. I saw what happened with PSA as far as the grading stuff goes, which I mean, I don't even know what to say about that other than just how ridiculous it is. Like that we'll maybe we'll do an entire episode on them at a different time, but it was obviously embarrassing. You know how many cards you're taking in, and just this. I mean, there's just no excuses for that. It's math, right? Let's see the upstairs part. They said they fixed it. They absolutely did not fix it. To maybe some people's surprise, certainly not mine, because like I said, I just don't believe a lot of these companies and organizations anymore. I'm kind of at the point now where it's like, don't tell me, show me, because I've just been, I've been to like 15 of these national shows, and a lot of the same problems that they have today. They've been talking about this stuff forever. Just like, well, I said I wasn't going to get into PSA, so we'll just leave that for another time, but similar to that, let's just say. But the reason the reason I am going to go is because I really miss just hanging out with my friends, like guys that didn't go this year, guys that did go. I just want to go hang out. We'll have a good time. I expect it to be a total shit show, but we'll have fun. And, that's that, right? Um, I didn't really, I don't know, man. Like I didn't see, at least from the people that I know, I didn't see a ton of buying really. And, maybe I just wasn't watching the right videos. I saw some people pick up some stuff. Like I saw like Ed and Mike O and some of the guys that they stayed with. Big Scott, Dave, Midlife Card Crisis. I saw their videos. They seem to pick up a few things, but it's just gotten so hard to, and it's because of the prices, right, of the cards. Like it's so hard to like go there with because just because the prices of cards have like 5x, 10x, that doesn't mean that our budgets have. So you're just not getting as much, bang for your buck as we did in the past. And I mean, that's not a national thing as far as that show goes necessarily. That's just any show. But I did see a lot of cool stuff that people picked up. So that was fun. The I guess like the influencer type videos that people were putting out from the national was very cringy. I typically don't even click on the ones where it's just like the title is, bragging about how much money they spent, or, bragging about a $300,000 trade or whatever. Like that stuff doesn't really appeal to me. Like, I don't know about you guys, but some of that stuff was kind of like, it was kind of cool, maybe like back in 2020, because we just weren't used to seeing it. But I'm just so just over that kind of content at this point. Like it's just the same old crap all the time. Like none of those cards are any cards that I'm ever going to have or even want. So it's like I don't really care about that stuff. And I think it's just kind of cringy to brag about, how much money you're making in anything anyways. So it doesn't appeal to me. I don't like the fact that they um there's a lot of these guys that kids really like to watch, and they kind of look at them as heroes, and these guys make everything about like the money. And to me that's just a gross thing. um I don't know. There's a lot I could say about that, but I will just choose not to. Anyways, let's show a card, because I can feel my blood pressure rising just talking about some of this national stuff. But so I did watch the newest Masters of the Universe movie the other day. Like as a kid, that was like I loved Masters of the Universe, Transformers, GI Joe. Like I was born in 1979, so a lot of my early childhood years were in the a lot of the time when you would be playing with a lot of the toys and stuff was kind of in that mid to late 80s time period. And I've had this card for a while, but watching that movie the other day kind of made me want to take it out and look at it. So it's the 1986 Wonder Bread He-Man card. So these were distributed in loaves of Wonder Bread in 1986. You would get, there's a 15 card set. You would get one card in these specially marked loaves of bread. This is actually, I mean, this is a PSA 7, but believe it or not, this is a pretty nice one because they had a lot of like yellowing and, they would get dinged up and creased and, because they were actually in there with the bread. So yeah, that made me want to look at this card, and I've actually got the whole set. I was gonna break out the Skeletor, but I think I have it at PSA. They've probably had it for a good year now at this point, but I'm sure I'll get that back. Maybe, hopefully, by the next national, I can share that with you guys. The movie. So the movie's like, I want to say, if I remember, I know it was over 2 hours. I think it was like 2.5 hours, close to that. The first hour was pretty bad. It was pretty slow for the first hour, and then it started to get pretty good. But I mean, I enjoyed it overall. But it's kind of, it reminded me a lot of the Marvel movies that are like 2.5 hours long. Like I felt like there was probably at least an hour of it that could have been cut out, and it wouldn't have really changed the movie itself. Like it was just a lot of filler type stuff that was just totally unnecessary. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. But let's hit one more sponsor and let's get out of here, guys. So our last sponsor of the day is the Weekly Cardcast Academy, teaching you how to talk for an hour without saying a single new thing. Welcome back, hobby scholars. Tonight's sponsor is Weekly Cardcast Academy, the world's first training program designed specifically for sports card podcasters who want to sound informed while contributing absolutely nothing new to the hobby discourse. At Weekly Cardcast Academy, we teach you the 5 sacred steps of hobby filler content, a system so powerful you'll be able to stretch a single thought into a full episode. This goes really good with that Masters of the Universe movie. I didn't even plan that. Step 1, the Gem Rate Gospel Hour. You begin your podcast by pulling up gem rate data and aimlessly talking about PSA's market share like you're breaking news from 2021. You'll say things like, PSA still dominates. Crazy, right? SGC used to be so good, man. Remember that? Look at this chart. Wild. Boom. 10 to 15 minutes gone. You haven't said anything meaningful, but your viewers think you're doing analysis. That's the Weekly Cardcast Academy promise. Step 2, the emotional consolidation monologue. Next, you spend another 10 to 15 minutes overanalyzing why you sold your favorite card to consolidate into a bigger card. Weekly Cardcast Academy teaches you to hit all the classics, such as, I just didn't love those cards anymore. You can always buy them back. It was time to level up. This segment is designed to sound deep while being completely interchangeable with every other collector's consolidation story. You'll even get bonus filler time if you dramatically sigh before saying, it was the right move. Step 3, mandatory consignment plug. I like this one. Now it's time for your 5-minute ad-style ramble about collector investor auctions. You don't need to say anything specific, just vaguely imply they're trustworthy, professional, and really understand the hobby. This is your breather segment, a palate cleanser before the graphs. I do like those guys, by the way. Step 4, The Graphs and Charts Prophecy. Here's where Weekly Cardcast Academy truly shines. We teach you how to spend 10 minutes explaining why player X is a better buy than player Y using graphs that look impressive but mean absolutely nothing. You'll learn advanced techniques like this line is going up, so that's good explanation. People are missing the boat on this guy speech. The auction house sale, I need to doggone detour, which can add 5 to 12 minutes depending on how petty you feel. This is the part of the podcast where your viewers nod along even though they have no idea what the chart is showing. Step 5, the grading company rant. I feel like I did one of these a little bit earlier, but I can do more. Finally, you close out the hour by circling back to grading. Even if you hate grading companies, even if you swore you wouldn't talk about grading again, that sounds familiar. Weekly Cardcast Academy trains you to say the sacred line, look, these grading companies are a business. Their primary goal is to make a profit. You must say this. You must. It is the cornerstone of filler podcasting. Then you spend the remaining minutes explaining how you would run the grading company, despite having no experience, no plan, and no intention of ever doing so. Weekly Cardcast Academy. Why innovate when you can narrate? Enroll today and learn how to produce a weekly 1-hour sports card podcast that sounds professional, feels informative, and contains absolutely zero new information. I like that sponsor, guys. All right, guys, that'll wrap it up tonight. Appreciate everybody hanging in there with me. If you went to the National, let me know, like, just in the comments, just like, do you think that they will actually improve things next year? Or do you think it's more of just the same BS line of like, oh, we're working on that. We work so hard on this all year, every year. It's in the same place every year, but we just can't figure it out. Anyways, I don't know, guys. Yeah, just let me know if you went or if you're thinking about going. Yeah, let me know that too. All right. Catch you guys later.